In this politically incorrect episode of Close Up, we share our exclusive interview with outspoken comedian Bill Maher. The TV host of Real Time with Bill Maher opens up about the reaction from his explosive 9/11 comments.
You know, they hated bin Laden, and then right under that, me.
Who his dream guest would be.
But you know, I guess the show is just scary to a lot of politicians.
His relationship with Johnny Carson.
Can't think of a new warm-up joke for sakes.
His biggest regret.
I certainly have definitely regretted things.
And what he'd do as president. We've got all that and lots more in this candid and surprising new interview.
Hi, I'm Bill Maher, and this is my close-up.
I think this is not just me sucking up to you. This is aside from me sucking up to you, Real Time is the best political talk show in America.
Thank you.
And it's something that has points of view we don't see elsewhere on the big networks or on
Right.
the cable news channels. Why don't you think there are more shows that have this diversity of view on American TV?
Because we live in America. You know, the point of view of my show is not American. Whenever I walk into a room with a lot of people, the first folks who'll come up to me and say I'm a fan are usually not American. They're usually from anywhere else in the world. You know, European countries, Middle Eastern countries. It's just, you know, they live in a cafe society where people actually talk about things, religion, stuff that, you know, we don't like to get into in this country. People don't really even like to get into politics that much in this country. And most of them certainly don't understand what's going on. So I just think it's a whole different sensibility. I just think I was born in the wrong country. New rule. Someone must tell President Bush where his heart is. Most people don't clutch the wrong organ, but then again, most people don't invade the wrong country.
Well, what were you like as a kid?
As a kid, I was a delight. I don't know, I think we're all just little versions of the people we become. I don't think we really change character that much. I was very independent, I still am. I was kind of a control freak that drove my parents nuts. I'm still that. I was fairly industrious, kind of nerdy. I certainly wasn't successful with women or girls until much later. So I was a late bloomer.
Were you interested in politics as a young person?
I was, because my father was a news guy. He was in radio news. So we actually did talk about that at home. And I could hear him on the radio. And I think you're always interested in what your father's doing. So it was always in my house. And I think I did start reading the paper at a younger age. And sometimes people say to me, you know, gosh, I don't know what's going on in the Middle East. Can you catch me up? And I'm like, no. You know, you have to
Watch
really,
the show.
You have to start young. But you can't even get it by watching this show. I mean, you try explaining Sunnis and Shias and Iraq to someone, you know, in 30 seconds.
I just want someone to explain it to the president.
Right. Exactly. I kid the president. No, I don't want to say that George Bush is a lame duck, but this morning Cheney shot him. That's...
When did you know you wanted to get into comedy?
Early. I was fortunate in that, because a lot of young people, even if they're very bright, they don't know what they want to do. I had that advantage. I always knew I wanted to be a comedian from, I would say, 10 years old. I remember watching Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In and writing down jokes. I mean, stealing jokes off television when I was very young. I was a little Milton Berle. And I never told anybody throughout all my years living at home, schooling. You know, I was just too afraid. I did not have that kind of confidence. Once in a while, someone would say to me, "Oh, you're funny," and I would think, "Oh, great! You know, that would be the best compliment they could give me," because I kind of fed that ambition. But I would never say I didn't have the confidence. Unlike so many kids today who come up to me and go, "I'm gonna be on your show, man. It's a fact, man." Yeah. I'm like, okay.
No, I think we have a problem with too much confidence.
I do too. I think I've said that for years. Too much self-esteem.
Yeah, I think it's too high.
Right, it is.
We got to bring the kids down a bit.
We should.
Did you admire political comics as a kid? Were you into Mort Saul or?
Well, Mort Saul wasn't really around when I was a kid. He was already not on TV.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, Mort Saul's heyday was late 50s, early 60s. I know he was very bitter after Kennedy became president. When I was really little, I guess I don't know who we were. Alan King was somebody I remember the whole family could enjoy. When I was a little older, Don Rickles, I remember when he was on the Tonight Show in the summer and I could stay up late, and that was a big treat when Don Rickles was on with Johnny. Johnny, of course, you know, I was watching him when I should have been in bed at a pretty young age. Robert Klein, you know, there's a guy who mixed politics in. You know, he did other stuff, but he was all over the map. But when it was a political time, like he had a whole album that was a lot about Watergate, he was certainly so influential on everybody in my generation of comedy coming up. And Carlin, I should have mentioned George Carlin.
How did your parents feel when you began doing stand-up?
You know, they were pretty cool about it. I had just gotten out of college, and I remember saying to them that I had passed the audition at Catch a Rising Star, and then just sort of left the room. I passed the audition, like that. I don't think they even know what it meant, but I wasn't selling drugs anymore, you know, I just think that they were, as long as I wasn't asking them for money, and I wasn't. You know, I moved into New York in what they called a rent-free situation because I didn't have any money, where I had to do things. I interviewed for a few of those rent-frees. One I finally caught on was an old queen who I guess I was going to have to do some things that I really wouldn't have wanted to do. But I found a situation. I moved into Manhattan, and I lived close enough to the clubs where I could hang out in them every night, and that's what I was doing.
Stay with us later in the show as Bill explains his controversial comments about 9/11.
They are true people of faith. You know, for the people of faith in this country who are always talking about faith and how great faith is, well, that's faith.
But up next, Bill reveals what he really thought of TV legend Johnny Carson, and you'll definitely be surprised with what he had to say.
Can't think of a new warm-up joke, for sakes. I've been hearing that for 25 damn years.